Hi, folks. Hi. Thank you for joining us for week 7 of the Hearthstone League presented by Aspirant CCG. I'm Anna Jane MTG. I'm here with Kazgar.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to week 7 of our series, which is the last week before we cut to the playoffs. So some high stakes matches we got tonight, Anna.
Oh yeah, we have 2 matches that have huge playoff implications. Our first match that we're going to be watching is a pre-recorded match between LSVFanboy and LawfulDog. And you can see LawfulDog is 5-1 and LSVFanboy is 4-2. So they're playing in Division 2, which is a slightly larger division, so 3 players are going to make the playoffs from their division. It looks like they have a pretty good matchup there. And the other match we're going to be watching a little later is a live match between Metis and Deliver, who are both 5-1. So this match is going to determine, it's going to be a sure playoff spot. It's going to lock them for the playoffs. The other person's probably going to be looking reasonably well in the wild card.
True, yeah, but the wild card has they have that extra round as well before they're in the full bracket, right? There's the wild card round, and the first place gets the bye. So if you can avoid that wild card spot, definitely huge for your chances. Just one less match you have to play.
Yeah, we have a 12-team bracket, I believe, but there's an extra couple. There's like an extra couple spots for like a playoff week. So it's an interesting structure meant to like accommodate our league, but we're trying to get a little more people into the playoffs and give a little more people a chance to take home the final trophy, so to speak. We don't have a physical trophy yet, but
not yet.
Right. There's definitely a lot of bragging rights up for grabs though, and some cash for sure.
But a not totally insignificant cash amount, I would say.
Not at all.
Yep. And as we're coming up to the end of the season, feels like a good time to talk about if you want to enter next season, and we'll bring this back around at the end of the cast as well. It's a $25 fee, and almost every penny of that goes to the prize pool. So the more folks we get, the more money there is up for grabs that you can possibly win. So we'll come back onto that at the end of the cast as well. But for now, Anna, you want to take a look at some decks we got going on here?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so like I said, our first match tonight, we have LawfulDog versus LVS. LawfulDog going with the standard warrior, the very standard warrior that we had been seeing up until the nerfs. Clearly still think that's okay. And then 3 Highlander decks, which I actually think is like a relatively safe strategy. Like it's just harder to mess up a Highlander deck in an untested meta. Like so many of the cards are already just kind of there for you. Like you're putting in that class's Highlander payoff. In the case of Hunter and Mage, Zephyrus, Alex, Tiamat's probably going in, maybe a Bone Wraith. Like it just fills out. And then if you do make a bad choice, you're probably not putting 2 of them in your deck. So it's much harder to completely tank. So I kind of like it, given that players only had a couple of days to test before these nerfs came out.
Right. Yeah, the nerfs were announced. They're announced last week, so we had to make sure. Our matches are like due on Mondays, but we had to make sure everyone played before Monday last week because that's when the nerfs dropped. So, the new week, the decks are due on Wednesday. So there's only like 1.5 days of actual testing in this meta before the matches that we're going to see today. Is there anything you see on these lists that you think might have been invalidated over the past few days?
Not really. I think Hunter and Mage were just pretty figured out, and I mean I think Mage was already teched. Mage was already doing okay against Demon Hunter and Warrior, which are kind of the big threats. And so I think those nerfs would probably have brought that matchup even closer. Hunter was basically already figured out. LawfulDog looks like he's going for the no secret package, and adding in one more high end threat with the Grand Slam, which is that's definitely a flex spot that can depend on. And then the most interesting thing to me is this rogue list. Anna and I were talking before the stream. We were both kind of like, standard Highlander rogue. And then we sort of looked a little closer, and you'll notice that there is a Geppetto Joybuzz and an Alex Straza. topping out that rogue list. So I thought that was a really weird inclusion, and it makes me think that combined with the Grand Slam and no secret package in Hunter makes me think he was expecting some slow decks from his opponent, and so he wanted to sort of beef up his top end.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you think that people would be hedging for secrets too? Is that something that they would have like tried to, kind of counter by just not playing them?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible, and I think secrets lose a little bit of their power in open deck list formats. Like when your opponent can just have your deck list on their screen as they're playing, they know, oh, he's running exactly these two secrets. They don't really have to play around. Which on ladder you have a general idea, but it's just a lot less concrete than when you can actually just look.
Oh yeah,
So I think
I've
might be a factor.
I've definitely been blown out by some off the radar secret, like a, like a, I don't know, like the. I'm blanking on what the mage one, mirror entity.
Oh
Right?
yeah. Hmm.
Someone like plays that randomly, and you like play some big bob, and you're like, oh crap, like you're not supposed to play that in your deck. That's not one of the ones that I think I'm gonna see on ladder. So
Right. Yeah.
you don't have this in this open deck list format at all. Is there anything else that we see that sticks out on these Highlander lists? I do want to point out before that we the warrior was the ban here, so
Okay.
it's not something that we're going to be seeing in this upcoming match.
Yep. And I mean, the lack of secrets in Rogue, I think, is interesting. Deciding that with the nerfs to Hanar and Blackjack Stunner, that package wasn't worth it. So he went with more the stealth route to get some card draw, which I actually think might be a pretty decent take on the Highlander deck, because you're not going to consistently get the cards that you want every time. So being able to cycle through to find the answers you're looking for that much faster could be pretty big.
Right, yeah, we do have the Skyvateer and the Greyheart Sage. So, and then we have LSVFanboy, which we can take a look at. And we see that he also brought Highlander Hunter, which seems to be, one of the decks that has really popped up in this new meta, from before.
Yeah,
It's
definitely. I
a
mean,
lot of ground.
yeah, it had the list figured out. It didn't really lose anything. Its worst matchup got a little better. And I think, LSV here just bringing the standard Highlander Hunter pre-nerf list that I think Fast 44 had been like hanging around number one legend with for a while. But then, and he's got the standard Demon Hunter as well, cutting the Crimson Runners for what is it? Some Chaos Strikes in there, some Sightless Watchers. So pretty standard.
Yeah.
But then his other two lists, I think, are a lot more interesting. The Warlock is the standard pre-nerf list, but I think that is interesting in itself. Is that he, even with the nerf to Imprison Scrap Imp, he decided to just go with it. He wasn't scared. He did put in the charge package, and I think that might have something to do with the nerf to Scrap Imp. Your stuff's going to be a little easier to kill, so you're less concerned about board, and you want to rush the opponent down a little faster. Is
right.
My read on his read, I guess you could say.
That makes a lot of sense. It's really crisp. It's just 15 2-ups, like nothing fancy. Just he's got 6 charge minions: the Stone Tusk Boar, Lugo Warrior, and Wolf Rider. He's we saw how powerful and how explosive the Scrap Imp draws could be last week. So it's gonna be real interesting to see how the charge package affects these matchups. And especially, I think, the fact that we don't have secrets in like the decks. You don't have to worry about something like Explosive Trap from the Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great point. It definitely just makes the Warlock minions a little more threatening, especially against Hunter, which is a deck that's really afraid of getting rushed down.
So, and this Bomb Warrior list, got a couple cards I haven't really played with before. We have the 2 Sword and Bards. We have 2 Blade Storms. We have Shield Blocks, which we haven't seen in these new lists and brawls. So, definitely seems that they're trying to play a little bit of a slower game than the list we've seen before.
Yeah, I actually like this list a lot. I was messing around with a similar version after talking with some folks on the Vicious Syndicate Discord about how Control Bomb Warrior was like looking pretty decent in their preliminary data. So I just sort of played a couple of games on ladder with it. And obviously like 2 or 3 games not enough, but it definitely felt like a deck that if I were better with it, could really do some stuff. And especially with Lawful Dog's triple Highlander lineup. I think those bombs could definitely throw a wrench in the Highlander plans for sure.
No pun intended.
Oh
With,
man,
Wrench Caliber, yeah.
I wish that pun was intended.
Oh,
I didn't think of that.
I definitely detected that it wasn't. Okay, so the ban on LSV's side is the Highlander Hunter, so we won't be seeing any of this list in this matchup, but we'll be seeing these great innovative innovative Control Bomb Warrior and Zulak and Tempo Demon Hunter.
Yep, I'm ready to cross my fingers for or against some bombs.
Right? Can't wait. All right. So we should be ready to go to the match.
Yeah, we're ready to get game 1 started. Looks like we've got a mage versus a warrior, so we get to see those bombs.
Oh yeah,
coming in early.
All right, so we have LawfulDog playing first, and kind of a slow hand here at Ice Barrier, Alexstrasza, Malygos, and the Twilight Drake, and LSVFanboy with, also kind of a slow, like, reactive hand.
Yeah, LSV Fanboy does have the Corsair's catch, which will be big for digging through his deck. And I can't remember, he was not running Ankar, so this is guaranteed to get a Wrench Caliber to be coined out on 3 to start applying early pressure and adding bombs to disrupt the Highlander cards from LawfulDog.
He actually is playing.
Oh, he is? Okay.
And Ankar. So.
Okay, good catch. So 2 out of 3. And either way, that's what you want to be doing on 3. So Corsair's catch on 2, a pretty big card to fill out your curve as warrior right now.
Right, and the coin he'll be able to just play the Wrench Caliber on 3.
Yep. Wonder. I mean, it has to be a play. I'm not sure what else he'd be thinking of. Maybe just considering a Tempo Armorsmith to save the coin for later. But I feel like you gotta just start hitting him in the face and getting bombs in the deck. But nope.
Oh, wow.
He disagrees.
Yeah. Just really deciding to take it slow. So the only secret we have in the mage deck is Ice Barrier. So there's nothing really LSVs can play around here. There's nothing he has to worry about playing around. Just LawfulDog's basically at 38. We do see a 4/6 Twilight Drake come down for LawfulDog, passing the turn back, and we see the Wrench Caliber on turn 4 for LSV. It's gonna pop the Ice Barrier and put a bomb into Lawful's deck, taking him down to 4 armor. We pass it back. Draws an Arcane Breath.
I think he's pausing here because it's tempting to play the Malygos on 5. You have 5 mana. That card costs 5. That's fundamentals of Hearthstone, right? But I think he was considering saving it to fish for a specific answer at a later point in the game. But I kind of like this here. Just play your minion. You're not under any pressure, really. You have some turns. And just get a generally decent card like maybe the Frostbolt to slow down or the Frost Nova.
Yeah, it ends up going with the 1 mana Frost Nova. Attacking LSV down to 28.
Someone's got to lead the charge.
Interestingly, it's not. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, interestingly, in the warrior matchup, it's actually generally, you don't necessarily want to hit him for just a little bit, right? Because that's just an extra card that they get to draw off of Battle Rage.
Right.
Something to consider. But sorry, I don't have the deck list in front of me because I only have it on the screen. I don't remember if Fanboy was playing Battle Rage. I have to imagine
he is.
He was.
He is playing 2 Battle Rage. Right.
I found it again, but so
So yeah, we saw the wrench caliber combined with a sword and board to take, or combined with a oh no, it was a shield slam and a sword and board, and the hero power taking down that Twilight Drake, attacking again for 4, putting the second bomb in a LawfulDog deck. So that's going to mess up his single targets.
Yep, which doesn't have any of them in hand right now, which is sort of a blessing and a curse. They wouldn't work right now anyway, but generally as Highlander Mage, you want your build around cards.
Right.
But the Conj giving 2 4/4s, which I think that had to have also influenced his decision to play the Malagos. Play the Malagos last turn to discover spell and then just get 2 5 drops.
Lead the charge?
Right. For sure. And he can make 2 more this turn if these survive or something. We see it's an interesting card that we got off that Skyraider. We have a blanking on the last word of that card.
Burglar is the
that's
last
right.
one.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting card that might bring something spicy into this matchup. So I'm always excited to see those like oddball cards, a discover, like a random effect like that.
For sure,
So
and I think they're a fun kind of different way of skill testing. Like I feel like people think you can't. I mean, you can't play on every discover, but the best players and LawfulDog is, make no mistake, LawfulDog is a great Hearthstone player. So when that discover comes down, he will definitely be taking into account what randomly generated cards can mess up his plans and playing around them accordingly. So I think they make the game more fun to cast. They make it more fun when you're playing. Okay, sometimes you just get burned, but I think they're also a good balance of a skill testing card as well. So I'm excited to see the impact that's going to have on the match.
Oh, for sure. I think I played LSV last week, and we were in game 5, and I lost because I was at 9, and he was playing Warlock. He had discovered a Malagos off of a Draconic Lackey.
Oh no!
And then just Malagos soul fired me when I had lethal on board. So those things can really make an impact. Back to this game, LSV's got a little bit of a board going here. So getting some armor from that Armorsmith. LawfulDog draws a Doomsayer.
Yeah, interesting. It's kind of an interesting decision point from LawfulDog here. He's got the Tortollan, which I can't imagine feels great right now. He's not in a position where he wants to go for random things, especially when one of the cards he would want to discover, the Deep Freeze, is already in his hand. So I think this is pretty reasonable. Kill the big threat, play the Doomsayer. He's not really concerned about the armor total from Fanboy in this matchup. I don't think. I haven't played it, but just sort of thinking about it, that doesn't seem like it would be an important thing. But oh wow, that's scary.
Yeah.
Can't play it this turn though.
Oh right, because of the Doomsayer.
Well, I guess he can.
Well,
It'll
he
just
can.
he just decides that the body isn't as worth as filling the deck with bombs as much as possible. So that will be bomb number 4 if my count is correct.
Right.
Actually learned, shout out to Necra, who is an amazing caster. So if you guys ever see anything she's casting, you should look at it. But I learned from her, she had this giant, like, multi-sided die, like way more than just 6, that she was using when she was casting a tournament in which Bomb Warrior was like a really prevalent part of the meta. And I just kind of looked over and saw her rolling this die, and I was like, what are you doing between matches? And she said she specifically bought this like 10-sided die to keep track of how many bombs were in decks.
Wonderful, yeah. We I think there's 4. Did one blow up?
I don't think one blew up, so I have 4.
Then there would be 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hers was more useful because you could go back down, right? Like I have tally marks, and so it's harder to go back down from that.
Well, it's a good thing that I play D&D, so I can pull out my dice.
There you go.
We are innovating the stream live here. Finding that new technology to make the experience a little better for y'all. So
We need
So-
like a live D&D die on the board.
Mhm.
The fate of the
Bomb
world
cannon.
hangs in the balance.
So we have Caligos to play here from LawfulDog, picking a Power of Creation. Metis, Water Elementals. Conjura's calling on Caligos, getting another Caligos back, and a King Feroris. So
It's a pretty-
Good.
It's a pretty tough looking board. I was wondering if are you scared enough to use your one brawl here? Because you do have the second one at
Mhm.
some point. But then I think if the water elemental or the Caligos lives, you're in a world of hurt. I think this is probably the right play to just fish for better answers and give him another turn of free spells.
Mhm.
And LawfulDog doing a good job of recognizing the double brawl in Fanboy's deck and not playing too heavily into it. Like this is a threatening enough board, and he's definitely not overextending, which can be tempting to do when you're ahead, especially with big minions.
Right. Yeah, we saw him get that Power of Creation off of the Caligos, and then didn't play it. Opted to do the Condor's Calling instead.
Yeah, it definitely looks like his line here is just going to be to have some moderately sized boards and just continue doing fairly hefty boards, but making a brawl feel a little bit bad for Fanboy, and then being able to reload after that, which is definitely a solid line and shows a pretty good matchup understanding from LawfulDog.
So the draw was the Carted Defender. He has a bevy of options of free spells here off of Caligos. 2 Power Creations, 2 Frost Novas, and a Netherland Portal. Opts for a Power of Creation, which in the face of the brawl seems... I'm not sure if that's like exactly what I'll be doing, but he picks 2 Safeguards, which gives him a little bit of insurance against the second brawl. Or actually, no, that makes it worse. Never mind.
I think it was the presence of the Netherwind Portal, the secret, because that means because the card text is after your opponent plays a spell. So once the brawl happens, he will get a 4-cost minion, and that combined with the second Power of Creation can give him just a second wave of pressure.
Okay. Yeah, we saw LSV thinking about the brawl.
It's hard not to think about it at this board state. I think he's just considering. I think he definitely saw the tendency to just reach for your first play, and then he reminded himself, okay, back off, take your hand off the mouse. Let's think about this before we just do it. Opting to draw first.
Right.
Yeah,
And
testing for the portal as well too.
Yeah, like that
counterspell.
could have been anything, because that's something that wasn't in his deck. It was discovered.
Yeah, heads up play from Fanboy to think about the mage secrets.
Right. So see the brawl after the leaves Caligos. Jeez. And we get the 2 safe. Sky Raider is going to give a Bloodsail Force. No, the Bloodsail Raider. Which is going to play as a 5/3. An attack and get a 5th bomb into LawfulDog's deck.
Yep, and there's that DQA that oof.
And 2 Violet Wardens. Not really what you're looking for there.
Yeah, I think LawfulDog was definitely waiting there to play the second one, because he saw one brawl. He's not playing around the second one being in the hand at the same time. It's super unlikely, so I think this might be some bad news for him.
Yeah, bad news bears right here.
Unless Caligos survives again.
Well, at this point, his hand's all minions except for 1 mana Frost Nova.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't count. Great. But we see one of the violet creatures. That thing survives.
Yeah, I actually don't know the name of that card.
It's violet something.
It is, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore because Bladestorm took it down, being the only minion left after Brawl. We have a Hero Power. And passing it back to LawfulDog, we have an Overconfident Orc, the draw. So
think I like Vanilla Alex here, I think.
yeah, I mean you're still gonna do 13.
Yeah, you're gonna do 13, and Warrior struggles a little bit with single target removal, and you've just seen both brawls, so he can't do the play a small minion brawl.
Right.
And you've seen a Blade Storm, so I think that is going to be tough to deal with. But LawfulDog recognizing that there is 25 damage just waiting in his deck, so deciding to go for the safer route and get a little bit of health.
Okay, fair. And then we see Blastmaster Boom. So now, okay, I have ADHD, and I see this die here, and then I pick it up and start playing with it.
I think there's 5, but there's definitely more than 3,
No,
which is the max for
definitely,
Blast.
I definitely remember that it's 5, but I just thought that was weird. I need to put it further away from my hands to play with my pen instead. We do see the Blastmaster Boom after the Ankar. Draws a Blizzard. We do have these bombs, but not really what we're worried about. And a Frost Magic that Frost Nova, or yeah, the 1-mana Frost Nova instead. And Alien attack, bringing LSV down to 11.
And what a top deck from LSV there, because he was board locked and couldn't do anything to answer this pressure that LawfulDog was setting up. And that top deck just really bombs flying everywhere.
Yeah, it cleans up the orc, gets rid of the first part to defend it, and then with 60 Skipper plus a bomb there is going to wipe out the second one. So now we just have an 8-3 Alex Raza. On 8-2, which...
Good time for the bomb here as well. Nope, still alive.
Nope.
Is he going to phase tank it? I don't hate it. You're looking at a kind of an empty hand. Mage isn't going to have, like, he's not running Pyroblast or anything.
Right, yeah, we do see that. It's going to bring LSV down to 8. I
think it's time for the box. I think you got a Tortolan for the box here.
Yeah.
I guess there's Blizzard as the other option.
Yeah, we'll see what LawfulDog decides on.
I'm just
Khazgar ain't doing it. Or Khadgar. Sorry, you're Khazgar. That's Khadgar.
It's a common misconception. We get confused all the time. I'm also told we look alike. The whole thing.
Yeah, I can totally see.
I get his mail. It's just.
We do see Khadgar come down, and then a Blizzard. So Khadgar hedging against the face bomb there.
Yeah, and this lets him kill the boom over 2 turns and save the box.
So we see a Deathwing the draw. So a couple options here. Deciding to go with the Bomb Wrangler with with nothing to really. All right, so
yeah.
we do have a little bit of a slowdown in the video here. There was some flames dropping. We recorded this, so please bear with us as we work through what seems to be a wonderful puzzle box.
No, that was the amazing Reno, which is exactly what LawfulDog needed to clear this board. I mean, he wasn't going to be under too much pressure, but in addition to the board pressure, he's got a clock. Every card he draws brings him closer to the 25 damage bomb, so he needs to turn this game around pretty quickly. So maybe Reno is his option here. I think that was if he didn't Reno, he was going to have to play the Tortolan and search for the box, or he already used a Power of Creation. I think the box is really what he needed there. But the bombs also interfere with the Tortolan Pilgrim as well, because they are spells.
Ugh. Did not quite realize that, but looks like he is going to play the
Reno. I guess the Deathwing came down on the empty board after Reno cleared it.
Yeah, I was looking at the deck list for a minute. I was like, what's left in the deck for spells? But like, it just went so fast that I didn't realize we had a whole turn cycle. So yeah, sorry about the video issue here, folks. The second match is going to be live, so that shouldn't have an issue. Any sort of frames during recording. But we do see what it looks like. They got a. Did they get a? I'm blanking on the card name. It's the 1-mana legendary mage spell. Evocation. Yes. So.
I got an evocation, and they're gonna play some cards.
Yeah.
That were evocated. And Rita's gonna do some stuff. It looks like Deathwing got targeted with something.
Wow.
I'm on the edge of my seat where there are bombs drawn.
Yeah, this is.
He has a ranged caliber to add another bomb, so we've got to be at 6 by now. So many bombs. If I'm fanboy, I am upset at the complete lack of bombs being drawn.
Oh, of course. Like half of the deck is probably bombs at this point, or like a third probably. I don't know how many cards they played, but it's probably like more than half. Less than half of the original deck. That's what
it's one of those. I feel like what Blizzard really implemented on their cast the deck counter when Bomb Warrior became a deck that they were broadcasting a lot. And I haven't really missed it since Bomb Warrior has been gone. But then there's a Bomb Warrior back, and I'm like, oh, that is a useful piece of information
so useful
to have.
Right.
Folks, I think this frozen frame is almost at the end here too. There was a lot going on, and the process of recording I think just sort of overloaded the processor for a little bit. But once everything slows down, we should be right back in it. We can see what's going on.
So, what is your? Do you have any thoughts about this new about this new meta? Anything that happens now?
I want to say shout out, but they did a very good job. They didn't kill any decks, but they. Oh hey, Fanboy won.
Oh wow, okay. Jeez.
Fanboy won. Congrats to the game 1 win.
Yeah.
We'll have to. I'm just curious. I need to hit them up and see how the game ended. Like, did he draw bombs? Did he just hit him in the face with Deathwing?
Right.
He drew. Okay. I'm being told now that he drew a bomb. Okay, that's fun.
Well, I can put this lovely D12 away now. We don't have any more Bomb Warrior games.
It is Conquest.
Right.
And I think that was always going to happen with these lineups, right? Like 3 Highlander decks, and the Bomb Warrior was going to mess up the payoff cards at some point and just get there. I think so. If I'm LawfulDog, I'm not too concerned. We sort of knew that was going to happen, and then I'm actually looking especially to the Zoo as the question mark in LSVFanboy's lineup, just because it was already such sort of a swingy deck that when you got Imp, you were basically unbeatable, and when you didn't, you were playing an arena deck, and now you're less unbeatable when you're unbeatable. So I think that's going to be the question mark, especially with this all these Highlander decks that Rogue and Hunter specifically normally don't like getting rushed down, but the Highlander options do give them some more leeway to, for instance, Zephyrus for an answer. So interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah. So we should be ready to go to the match. Oh, so we have another recording issue. We're starting mid-match here. We're on looks like turn 6 for LSV.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Who would have started on the coin. And we have LawfulDog's at 15 already. LSV is still at 30, so this Tempo Demon Hunter is putting a little bit of a hurt on Highlander Mage again.
I grow.
Yeah, and he has that, I can't remember the name. It was the one that was in the OTK list. That it looks like that's the give your hero 8 attack, so LawfulDog's life total is very threatened.
Yeah. Inner Demon.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Time grows short.
Job's done.
Must have gotten that off some sort of Oh, he's playing 2 Volpera Scoundrels. I didn't notice that.
He is. I think that just speaks to the power level of Demon Hunter's spells, right? Like even in an aggro deck, people are just cool with playing a 3-mana 2/3 because there are so many bananas spells in Demon Hunter's arsenal.
Yeah, and we see this Inner Demon just, even if there's a board clear or Blizzard or something, can easily just shut this game down. Like, I'm not sure if LawfulDog has anything. Oh, they do have the Cartridge Defender. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you, one of the things, like, you don't know about the Inner Demon, you're not necessarily on your radar, but it's something, is in the realm of things that can be discovered.
True, but it is. He has a couple of turns. I like playing the Cartridge and taking him off. Just playing a little bit of the board here. I think he's got time for that. He's coming into his power turns as well.
Right. So Twin Slice being able to give 2 more power to this Warglaives he has an
Warlock.
and then Skull is going to draw 3 free cards, 2 Battle Fiends, and a Beaming Sidekick.
And those Battle Fiends will be getting
very big.
Yeah, they'll be quite huge, but their health will stay the same, which is important.
3 juice, yeah. One of them can get buffed.
That's true. Yeah, to a 4. Then you just now Blizzard Ping doesn't do it, but then it's frozen at least. Just deciding how much he wants to play into this. I think he sort of has to play the board here to make LawfulDog spend mana clearing the board versus healing, and then go for the surprise factor with Inner Demon.
Looks like he's going to be doing that. Attacking Cartridge Defender with Warglaives. Send a Battle Mage in to clear that, and then sending 8 damage to the face, going down to 7. Nicely in Inner Demon range for next turn. Draws a Bone Wraith.
This is an interesting turn from LawfulDog because you know that's a generated spell. And so you're sitting here, and I imagine Volpera Scoundrel was played fairly early, so it's been sitting in the hand for a while. So you've got a lot of information about what it's probably not.
Right.
But then how do you navigate that? Because he's clearly behind, right? He's in a position where he has to play around. He's behind at this turn, but he can also so decides to not worry about Inner Demon, which is, I think, a fair point. He had to clear the board. He had to deal with the threat he could confirm. And here it comes.
We all have.
All right, so LSV gets a win with Demon Hunter.
Amazing.
Amazing. Oh.
Truly amazing.
Oh my god. All right, so that was pretty quick just because of the video issue there. But we definitely going in mid game. We saw that how just Tempo Demon are going to have those draws that really just put the pressure on really early.
Yeah, I'm not sure we missed too much time of Hearthstone being played. It looked like Demon Hunter was just there,
Yeah, I think the time that we missed was soaked up by the missed frames in the first match. That kind of made up for it. So
now we're right back on schedule.
Yeah. So LSV is now 2-0, getting wins with Bomb Warrior and Tempo Demon Hunter. So just have that Zulok left, which is the deck that you were saying was kind of, was like the little iffy one here. So if you're LawfulDog, what are you gonna queue up when you know it's Zulok?
I think I'd stick with Mage maybe.
Okay.
Although he is not running Imprisoned Observer, which is big. So maybe that's actually a good question. None of them are like amazing matchups. They're just all doable, right? And it's like if he gets Imp, it's going to be much harder. So I think I'd probably queue Hunter, and then if I'm Fanboy, I think I've got 3 chances to have Scrap Imp on 2. And if I hard mull for it, I'm going to get there one time. Which is an interesting. You know, I think Fanboy's actually in a pretty decent spot. I mean,
Yeah, for
obviously
sure.
he's up 2-0. That's a good spot, but he's under any pressure, so he's got plenty of chances. Which, and we sort of had a conversation about this before. Is that the Q order of this format? Our tiebreakers do reward game wins within a match. So losing 3-2 is 2 games better in a tiebreaker scenario than losing 3-0. So I also wonder
Yeah.
if Fanboy kind of knows that that's the weak point in his deck and wanted to try to get at least 2 wins. And then if he gets reverse swept, fine, at least he gets 2 wins for tiebreaker scenarios. Because he is, rather than 5-1, he's on 4-2. So he's a little bit lower. So wild cards and tiebreakers might come in there as well. So just a whole different, when you're playing in a league when other people's results matter and games and stuff, it's just a whole different stratagem that these players get to explore, which is pretty fun.
Right. Yeah. We'll be able to take a look at the standings for this division at the end of this matchup as well. So we'll be able to see how this how these tiebreakers are going to factor into it, because we'll see that LawfulDog isn't the only, or LSV's, there's another player who's at 4-2. So we'll be able to see how that would possibly affect the other matchups after their resolve. But I think we're ready to go back to our third game here, which could be the final game if LSV gets that big scrap imp draw.
Shall be mine.
Yeah, if LSV can draw scrap imp, this will be rough.
Yeah, just quick mulligans for both players. Not what they wanted to see there. Okay.
Oh, no trap imp, but he does have expired merchant into Hand of Gul'dan, so
that's a powerful interaction. He chooses not to play anything, waiting for a possible scrap imp. Plays the merchant. Gonna draw 3.
Amazing.
Amazing. We got a Stone Toll Spore, a Battle Mage, and a Wolf Rider. We have 2 charges in the hand there, so let's see how those affect this game once we win by that. Ever important scrap imp. Magic Carp with the draw. Just gonna hero power here. Dig a little closer. And we're at 10 cards, so I mean you gotta play something. Play the Battle Mage.
yeah, I never loved Zoo because I didn't want to play things without scrap imp. So anytime I had to play a minion, I was like, oh dang it. But it's an aggro deck. It's very weird. It's a very weird feeling to play it.
Yeah, Warlock was always my worst class.
Get a little too aggressive with the tapping. You're just like, oh, I'm at 4 health, but I gotta tap. I need it.
So LawfulDog having an option here to coin into a Bone Wraith. Or an escaped Mana Saber.
I almost wonder if he ever just pings the 2/2 here, and then, I mean, I guess pings it again next turn, or doesn't if it gets buffed, and saves the coin. Because if he can Mana Saber on 4, and then, well, he doesn't have a 6 drop. So he Mana Saber on 4 into Dragon Caster is a pretty powerful play that he might want to save for. But he can also just coin into the Bone Wraith and put a minion on board, because he clearly knows that the card the Zoo deck functions around is not in the hand.
Right. He's choosing to coin into Mana Saber here. And there's the scrap imp.
I'm tempted to say it's a little too late, but he has Magic Carpet and 2 chargers. So if he loses the board, if the Bone Wraith and the Escape Mana Saber end up being, they get taken down by the charging 1-drops, or the rushing 1-drops, excuse me, and then he has some buff chargers.
Well played.
Yeah, let's see. So he actually well played. LawfulDog with the strong emote game. Definitely appreciate that. LSV is going to just play a Beaming Sidekick here for a buff on the Battle Mage, bring it up to a 2/4. And we do see a 6-drop off of LawfulDog, but having used that coin, it's not going to help with the Mana Saber this turn. So most likely going to see the Bone Wraith here.
What to do?
I presume.
What to do?
I would think so.
There's no dragon to turn on Arcane Breath.
Right, and this isn't a scary enough board to burn your Frost Nova, so I think we have to see the Bone Wraith, I would think. There just doesn't seem to be any point in saving it. I think I'm interested to see if he decides to bring this escaped Mana Saber out of stealth.
Right. And like, do you attack the 2/4 so you can ping it next turn, or do you kill the 1/2?
I think I like leaving it in stealth. Like he's nope. All right, gonna do a little face damage. That was an option that I hadn't even thought of. I mean, I guess he's got a bigger board. He's got another turn before Scrap Imp takes over. Woof.
Yeah. Got another hand of Gul'dan. The draw for LSV. Gonna tap into a Voidwalker. And deciding what to play here with 10 cards in the hand.
None of them feel great because next turn you want a Magic Carpet, play some 1-drops.
Yeah, I imagine that you don't want to see the hand there as the draw.
No, with 2 in your hand, there's no way to discard them. That's just, and your hand getting pretty full. Although now you do have refill, but you already had refill. That's an air draw. That's a nothing for sure.
It just doesn't give you anything to do on this turn that you really want to be doing. All right, so I feel like
got some video issues here a little bit, and so I'm just gonna narrate the plays that I think should happen. You're gonna get Khazgar Hearthstone.
All right. Well, we did see a Voidwalker. No attacks for LSV on this turn. LawfulDog. Okay, so we had an attack with the Mana Saber, taking out the Voidwalker, the extra coin being able to, extra mana being able to bring out the Karja Defender on turn 5. And the draw for that turn was the Power of Creation.
Yep, and the Bone Wraith killing the Beaming Sidekick.
All right.
Hey, I got you,
This
friend.
is at this point. This is looking fairly mage favored. I think he'll be able to deal with this board, maybe over 2 turns, but it's I don't think it's going to be that crazy of a board.
Yeah, and definitely has the tools. We have a Rolling Fireball. We have the option to Siamat off of the extra mana for Mana Saber. Also have the Frost Nova.
And both of these minions do have Reborn. So with he doesn't have enough mana to get through all of the attacks. Oh no, he might. He's got 3 for the Magic Carpet, and then 4, 5, 6 would be 3 more 1-drops, which would give him 4 attacks. So nope, not quite enough. So the Mana Saber is still going to be living next turn as well.
All right.
And then if the Mana Saber lives, he would probably attack.
What to do?
And then play Tiamat with Rush and Wind Fury to kill the Magic Carpet and another minion that is alive still. Whichever the biggest thing was, probably. And then Fanboy probably plays Hand of Gul'dan because he doesn't have anything else to do.
Runs out on me.
Yeah.
Threw all his 1-drops on the ground. And he's not close enough. Well, his chargers got buffed, so he might play them and then Hand of Gul'dan later.
I wish I had lost like 2 turns ago when going through all this. It was like,
this is maybe how I should actually play Hearthstone, because then I always win. I'm like, yeah, and then they'll do this, and then I'll do this.
I always have to think like 2 turns ahead, and I mean, you're really showing that skill here. It's
Well, only if I'm right, which I don't know if I am. I could be totally wrong. But this does feel a little bit like the argument you have in your head, you know, when you're like, and then I'll go in and I'll say this, and I'll tell my boss, and then he'll say this, and I'll have the perfect answer. That's what I feel like I'm doing right now.
And
but
then
with
you get fired, and you lose,
and then you get your big break in Hearthstone casting. That's how it goes. That's how the story is.
Of course. Jeez. Oh, okay. So LawfulDog's at 30.
Man, I was so wrong. Nothing that I said is going to happen.
We have the 5/5 Magic Carpet. It looks like we're going to be seeing a Wolf Rider go to the face. So LawfulDog is at 30 after the Kartet Defender life. We did clear out that Mana Saber. Didn't see the Siamat on turn 6. So we had an Arcane Breath. So LawfulDog drew Alexstrasza, which let him play Arcane Breath, discovering a Flame Strike, And now we have LSVFanboy with a magic carpet. And we have Stone Tusk, right? Stone Tusk Boar coming in for 3, and then Wolf Rider coming in for 5. LawfulDog is
Runs
now
out
at
on me.
16, so we missed 6 damage somewhere.
I need one of them to send me the HS replay link so I can see where I went wrong.
Yeah.
This would be a good practice tool for me for sure.
You were just a burden.
I missed that.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, has Fanboy's hand is just so sad. He has a
Oh my
0/4,
God.
a 2/2, and 3 draw 3s that cost 6 mana.
That's not a 2/2. It's a 4/3.
Oh, that was one that got buffed. Okay,
Yeah.
so a
it's
little
behind-
so a
It's
2/1 less.
behind the 2 hands that were brought back. We promise this will be fixed.
Okay, Frost. Okay, so he drew the matron, discarded a thing, drew some stuff, and then a Flame Strike and Ray of Frost came down, but looks like he did not go for the twin spell, opting to just freeze and ping it the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine, well, he won't. If he pings next turn, he can't play Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, but pinging feels more important with his life total being where it is.
Right. You can save the Ray of Frost to freeze something more crucial down the line. So Fanboy here is starting his turn. Drew the magic carpet. His last turn would have played the matron, discarding the hand, drawing the cards. I apologize. I feel like something was dropped there too. But yeah, this is rough. Thank you, folks, for bearing with us for this.
Oh, we have our producer giving us the play-by-play. A Scrapman was played on some charge minions, which is pretty scary from LawfulDog's perspective. You're
Right.
probably missing some more amazings coming from Jaina, I would guess.
Yeah, and some more drop frames coming from the stream. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can just go to the end here and yeah. Jeez. Really sorry about everything there. It's kind of an anticlimactic finish, but LSVFanboy gets a clean sweep. You know, the 3 Highlander decks not really working out for LawfulDog there.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just a not being super confident in the meta. Maybe thinking the nerfs, because I think we've seen, obviously, if you look at like GM, for instance, a lot of the players are feeling pretty. They were just like, these decks are still good. I think I was watching the House Rivalries final, and they did the winners interview with Honest Zabe, and he was saying, yeah, I just felt like I knew how to play these decks well. So even if they were nerfed a little bit, that was going to do better because we only had a few times. And I think LawfulDog took a different strategy of Zephyrus and Alexstrasza are both really good cards. So I'm just going to play those in my decks, and hopefully they can get there. And this time it just didn't work out. But
both
from what we can see, well played
both
to both players.
But yeah.
So both go to 5 and 2 now, which will definitely shake up the standings and make it a tight race for the playoff spot.
Yeah, we do have a slide for that. We should be able to take a look at. Because there's a really interesting matchup as well in this division too. We have LawfulDog is in second place, or was in second place after week 6.
So now he will go to 5 and 2. Fanboy 5 and 2. with 18 game wins and still 12 game losses. Wow, LawfulDog's game wins to game losses is ridiculous, by the way.
Right, but unfortunately, not getting any game wins this matchup means LawfulDog is going to be behind LSVFanboy. So, No Glocko is locked up for first, regardless of this matchup. Then, because no one else can get up to 6. So No Glocko is locked up a bye already. We still have to find the results of his game, but he's playing against the 3rd seed Denker. So No Glocko could just like knock the whole division out of the wild cards. Oh no, there is a 3rd spot that goes. So, but they're definitely, if Denker wins against LawfulDog or against No Glocko, he'll be able to lock up a playoff spot as well.
Yeah, and then I think if Denker wins, that would put LawfulDog in 4th if I'm doing math correctly.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for LawfulDog that like really needed to get those 2 game wins. Like really speaking to how these tiebreakers can affect things. If LawfulDog was 3-2, then would have been able. The game losses are so good that would have stayed ahead of LSV regardless of the win. And you look down at 8th place. There's me.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about that. I ended up bringing the wrong decks this week. I submitted my list too late, and it was already posted, and I didn't realize it until I went into the game, and I was like, "Whoops! Okay, I guess I have to play the same decks that I played last week." So we played Demon Hunter pre-nerf, and it wasn't good. I got 3-0'd. So anyway,
It'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't playing for anything anyway. I wasn't. It was just kind of like oh geez, really?
Never feels bad. It feels bad when you lose for like administrative mistakes. You're just like, oh, well, that was an easy fix. I could have just because I've done the same thing several times. So it it happens. It for sure happens. But I think we our next match will be live, and it will be a matchup between Deliver and Metis coming up. So I guess while we let those players let them know that we are about ready, let them get set up. Do we want to take a quick look at the deck lists?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Metis starting us off with a Face Hunter, an Egg Warrior, a Tempo Demon Hunter, and a Galakron Priest. And I gotta say, these all look pretty standard. The one he clearly still believes in the nerfed cards is what I'm taking away from this.
Oh, of course. We do have 2 Crimson Sigil runners in the Demon Hunter deck. Warriors got. Go ahead.
It's something I think it's something that I think players were testing and playing around, and I think it will be less of an automatic auto include, but I think we still might see those come around because it is still a body and draw card for 1 mana, which is pretty good. The 1 attack hurts for sure. Like it's not gonna trade into a Battle Fiend in the mirror, for instance, but you're still getting to cycle and make something for your opponent to deal with. So I think it may turn out that the best replacement for a 2/1 Sigil runner is a 1/1 Sigil runner, but that remains to be seen. But Metis seems to think it is. And kind of the same thing with the Bloodsworn Mercenary, still liking it. And interestingly, still liking the Face Hunter with the double Scavenger's Ingenuity to fish out those Stone Tusk Boars and Phase Stalkers, which I haven't seen much Face Hunter since the nerfs went live. I feel like this was a deck that was most affected by the Ingenuity nerf as opposed to Highlander Hunter, which just uses it to tutor Zixor, essentially.
Right.
But so everything's pretty standard to me, unless something sticks out to you.
Not really. We do have the 2 Bloodsworn Mercenaries in Warrior as well, so definitely just not shying away from these nerfed cards. So the priest deck, we have some cards that I haven't seen in some other decks before. We have like 1 Shadow Ward Death. We have 1 Moarg Artificer. A couple like couple of those cards that, those like one-ofs that you don't always see all the time. Do you have any thoughts about those?
I'm sorry, thoughts about what? I was checking
Uh,
the bands. My apologies.
Oh, we have like the one Moarg Artificer, the one Shadowward Death in the priest list.
Sure. I think Moarg was a card that came up a lot in early Galakron Priest, and I think some players are starting to move away from it. Metis thinking it's still worthy as a one of, because with that penance, that's a 2-mana heal for 6 if that's on the board. Kill a card, and I think the death. I think it just got to be. I mean, it's got to be in there for the brute, or maybe Deathwing that some warriors have been playing to sort of help shore up the priest matchup. So I think those are definitely worthwhile inclusions. Just depending on the meta read that Metis was making. Interesting to me that he cut a Fate Weaver for it.
Yeah.
But I haven't played a ton of Priest. I just feel like I normally see 2 Fate Weavers in a deck, so I guess it's a card that if you haven't invoked twice, it's just a 4-mana 3/6, which isn't great. So maybe a card, but I feel like it's also a card that you really want to draw as well. So you sort of pay that price by having 2. But Metis taking a different calculus and diversifying the early game and some threat removal instead.
Okay. So the ban here for Metis's lineup was the Demon Hunter. So we're gonna be seeing the Face Hunter, Egg Warrior, and Galakron Priest in this matchup.
Right.
So
Deliver also still respecting the nerf cards apparently. So let's see if those were in his lineup. Bum bum bum, and they were. We knew that. I set that up. I'm sorry.
What?
So we're coming in with the Tempo Demon Hunter, the Highlander Hunter with the Secrets package and Phase Stalker that we've been seeing. Enrage Warrior opting for no eggs and going with the more value-oriented list with Captain Greenskin and the 8-mana Deathwing, and then his own Galakron Priest with the interesting inclusion of Wild Pyromancer.
Yeah, we have 2 Shadowward Deaths here. Only one Celtic Veil Weaver.
Yeah, I think this is a priest that's definitely built to fend off aggression a little better. The Celtic Veil Weaver it's not a card you necessarily want to play on turn 2 just as a 2-drop. Sometimes you're forced into that against an aggressive deck. But swapping it out for a Pyromancer to help clear some early Demon Hunter boards, you only really need to cast 2 spells, and then if you can combine Pyromancer with Apotheosis, you're gonna clear a board and heal yourself for quite a bit. So Deliver definitely teching this priest to fend off some of the early aggression that Demon Hunter.
Oh, but the priest was banned, so don't want to go too much into this list anymore here. With the Highlander Hunter, we do have a secret package. We have a freezing trap and a snake trap.
Yep, which are interesting. Those are weird because they're cards. You never want to draw them, right? They're there so Phase Stalker can thin your deck. But they can really like the priest. It's teched pretty anti-aggro, right? The if you saw LawfulDog's list didn't have the secret package, he was definitely teching for some slower cards because a slow deck doesn't care about your 1/1 snakes usually. But they can make trades in an aggro mirror pretty awkward for your opponent and really disrupt their early turns, which can slow them down enough to let Hunter get to its big threats in the mid and late game.
Yeah, and we see that we don't have the the Hunter we had last round had a Nagran Slam. The curve stops at 9 here. We don't have any of that. Anything stick out to you about these other the Warrior or Demon Hunter?
I mean, they seem pretty standard. The Demon Hunters, he's packing the Devil Frozen Shadow Weaver. You can definitely tell looking at the lineup as a whole, the Deliver was expecting some aggressive decks, but then did end up banning the Demon Hunter. So maybe he is trying to hope the anti-aggression will come into play against the Phase Hunter.
Yeah, for sure. And you were talking before the cast about not wanting to do a priest mirror, so I'm sure you were excited to have that ban for Deliver here.
I am. I'm sure the players are. I have to. I mean, sure, this isn't actually true, but it had to come into play. Like, man, I really don't want to play a priest mirror. I'm just gonna ban priest and play the other decks.
Totally fair that one would take that stance. You know, it's almost like a prisoner's dilemma, right?
I took that stance in an
like,
open cup today.
what's up?
I took that stance in an open today. I was not the correct ban, but I brought priest and I really didn't want to play a priest mirror. I just I have better things to do with my time. So I was like, whatever, I'm banning the priest. It's fine. I lost that round, potentially because I banned priest, but it was worth it.
Was it? All right. So I think we're ready to go to the match here.
Yep.
Just gotta make sure
this
gotta get our
match-
players ready here.
Yep, this match will be live, so no pre-recording here. We are seeing it as it unfolds. We'll get you into the game as soon as the players do, just waiting for them to queue up.
What are you gonna bring first if you are Deliver here? Which one of these decks would you play first?
Let's see. So Deliver banned the Demon Hunter, and his Priest was banned. I think I probably bring my. That's tough. I'd probably go Highlander Hunter because it's just a very even matchup spread. It's not super polarizing. You're going to have a shot at whatever you queue into, which I think is pretty useful going in a format where tiebreakers can matter in game wins. I think queuing a deck that there are no really just super oppressive matchups. Its worst matchup is maybe Demon Hunter, which he banned. So then Face Hunter is a little bit of a challenge, but you can definitely get there a decent enough chunk of the time.
Yeah, and if you're Metis, what are you bringing first?
I think if I'm Metis, I'm bringing Priest, probably because I want to make sure that Priest lines up against Warrior. Because Highlander Hunter just completely stomps Priest. It's it's something like a 65-35 matchup in favor of the Highlander Hunter, and Demon Hunter is also a really tough matchup. So I think I'm bringing Priest in the hope, because I don't want the Warrior to sneak through a win, because I think if the Warrior gets a win, it's going to be much harder to get that third win with Priest.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. All right, so we're having a little bit of an issue getting into the match. So pardon our issues again. Really sorry about that. It's interesting though. Like the way you like kind of set it up. For Matisse, you're like, I don't. It's a bad matchup with Highlander Hunter, but for Deliver, you're like, I'm gonna bring Highlander Hunter because it seems like the most even deck. So does that play into Matisse's decision and maybe picking the Face Hunter to start?
It definitely could. And Face Hunter is obviously not quite as polarizing as Zulok. It does need to draw kind of decently well, I think.
Here we are. Okay, sorry. We are into the. Oh.
I just gotta say, I nailed it. The keys.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Congratulations. Awesome.
It's funny. I don't actually think you keyword that much when I'm playing, really, because then you become predictable. So there's also in the conquest queue, like just pick a random deck, which is a totally viable strategy that I think maybe is what could have happened here.
Yeah. Then you just got lucky.
Yep. It's Hearthstone. Sometimes you get lucky.
So we had Deliver on the playing first here, leading with Lazy Metal Mage, Matisse, coining out a Veilweaver, and then playing a Thoughtsteal on his turn. We had a Hero Power on Deliver's second turn, and Deliver's deciding what to play here. Could play Desert Spear, could play Zixor. Opts for Zixor. Take out the Veilweaver and pass that. And we have a Dragonbane was one of the cards for Matisse. That's going to be interesting. And the other one was a Scavenger's Ingenuity, I believe.
It's a Corrosive Breath.
My bad.
Blood be born again.
All good.
I was looking at the wrong deck list. That always happens.
Yep, and I think it the decision point over which three cost card to play was an interesting one from Deliver, because normally the primes in general against Priest, you have to be very careful about when you play them because they can always Shadow Madness you.
Right.
I think Deliver was making the call that he wanted to play it early because A, it was going to be an empty board, so it couldn't be Shadow Madness, and B, it was unlikely in the next few turns that like something was going to really screw him up with Shadow Madness, and he can make sure it dies off before he plays Diving Griffin to increase the chances that he tutors that 6 or prime, which is just one of the crucial power spikes in Hunter right now.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, because my brain was like, oh, just play the Desert Sphere. You can just attack down the 2/1 and get a 1/1, and it seems like a great value play. But the way that the way you described it, really shows why I'm 1-5 and the goes 5-1.
Well, and then Deliver just set up a perfect Shadow Madness play. So.
Oh no.
I stand by my read on why that play was good, and then I stand by why I think playing the Diving Griffin was maybe a slight misplay there, but sometimes those happen, and maybe he had to read the Shadow Madness wasn't there, or just wanted to apply pressure.
Yeah, interesting. So here we just see a Desert Spear and a Hero Power. Deciding whether to attack.
To get that 1/1.
Decides to get the 1/1. Bringing Metis down to 25. Metis draws another Thought Steal. The Shield of Galakron.
And I think that shows why he decided to attack face with the 1/1 there. He wanted to have a transform target for his Faceless Corruptor. Just to get the extra 4/4 there.
Yeah, I mean, he could have done it this turn too, right?
He could have, but now he has. Oh, he could have. Okay, he has an extra 1/1.
All right. So Metis draws another Veilweaver, I believe. Yes.
So he has the. I don't see a super clean clear of the board right now. He doesn't want to sink a ton of resources into just the 4/4 and the 1/1, but he may be forced to, because that damage can add up pretty quick. Because Hunter is going into turn 7 as well, and we can see that Deliver doesn't have Dino Tamer Brand, but as the opponent of Highlander Hunter going into turn 7, you're always thinking, how do I avoid taking 8 damage to my face next turn?
Right. Of course.
Tough decision for Metis here. Okay, I actually like this. You're sending 5 to the face. 4 killing the 4/4 is definitely what you're shooting for, and whipped on that. But this does have like pseudo taunt.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, hit the 1/1, which is not what you wanted to hit. But c'est la vie.
And Metis getting the good news that he is not going to have a dinosaur hit him in the face this turn.
Right.
Because he doesn't have an amazing answer for it in his hand right now either. So I feel like I think that was really his dilemma, was if he could set up any way to deal with it. But back to Deliver's turn here. I mean, it's turn 7. You have a 7 drop, so that's the first thing my eye goes to. Choosing instead. Okay, so he's gonna be a mind. Okay, so he's gonna Divine Shield and Fury.
Seems like it. Alright. Shadow Madness to draw for Metis.
This is a hard turn. Oh, he can Breath of the Infinite. Penance Corrosive Breath to clear. Right? Does that math check out?
Yeah, it does. And
so much harder for me to do math when I can't look at it with my mouse and like move it over for some reason.
Yeah. So gonna clear the board. Gonna bring Metis up to 29. He's gonna pass it back, deliver, drawing a corrosive breath of his own. Deciding what to do here. Thinking about evasive Feywing.
Yeah, not too many amazing options here to continue applying pressure. I think getting the damage while you have the dragon in hand and leaving in the hero power, since your hand is a little bit empty here, is probably the better play. Because I mean, the hero power does add up, and it does force priests to start using their own hero power. So if they have power cards, I mean, not right now because his health is so high, but at a certain point, if they have power cards, but they're having to spend 2 mana undoing the 2 mana you spent when you don't have power cards, it over time is going to lead to a slight advantage for you.
Right. So Metis here is going to play a Veilweaver, going to Shadow Madness the Liak, getting him a silence, and deciding to silence Liak to redraw for Veilweaver, which maybe is not quite what he anticipated there.
Yeah, I've seen that interaction before, but I totally forgot about it. That's
Me too. Yeah, I mean, I guess you just want to silence the Scale Rider then, if you want your redraw.
Yeah, but I think this is giving a lot of information to deliver that Metis just does not have a great hand. If his whole play was to just go for a pretty suboptimal Shadow Madness silence, to just try to cycle through and get
and even more suboptimal silence.
For sure.
Man, if you thought this Shadow Madness was bad, wait till you see the silence.
Mind games.
Right?
You don't even know what's about to happen.
No. Well, yeah, I was gonna make a joke saying that I was gonna call the priest card mind games, not realizing you were actually talking about the card. Then I looked up and I saw it. Jeez. So, Phase Stalker for Deliver. He's got a Stage Trap in hand. So you think deciding if you want to just play the Phase Stalker and get that freezing trap out.
It is a tough call because on the one hand you have one secret, so your Phase Stalker could lose value 50% sooner. But on the other hand, the secret's not really that high impact. But it does thin your deck and make sure you can get to a high impact card sooner. So this is a tough play. Deciding to go for the pressure now, which I like. He knows that Metis just got a bunch of spells, and so he's decided to play the minion that can't be targeted by spells. I think that's the right read on the play in the situation.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. My instinct is always to just I really don't want to draw the second secret. I want to play. Let me get it out of my deck, but Oh my god, so Metis drew a Dino Tamer Braum. As well as the Dwarven Sharpshooter, which doesn't affect anything with these heroes.
And I have to say, I can't see the brand being that impactful unless Metis just absolutely perfectly draws no duplicate cards. So he has singles in his deck, because if the game goes that long, Metis is already probably doing okay.
Yeah. So thinking about a Holy Nova here. Whiffed on that Discover.
Nothing but a bunch of big birds!
Dwarven Sharpshooter, just making things redundant. Zephyrus, draw for Deliver. It definitely, makes this interesting. Like, there isn't much going on in Deliver's hand, so...
Yeah, I wonder
if you
you
consider Zephyrus here?
I think so, but it just feels so bad to use Zephyrus for card draw, but that's part of Zephyrus. You use him for how you need him, right? But I don't know how low your hand has to be for him to offer you. I think 3 is low enough.
Okay. And you're not facing any pressure.
Okay.
But you don't see Sprint, but we have Tyrion, which seems like the best choice here. I don't think you want to take the 2/2, and buffing a minion probably doesn't seem great.
I think you could buff the Fey Wings health back up.
Moves quickly.
That's true.
Or it might be worthwhile.
Right, you do know that the Deliver has another
Put your
another
faith
Breath
in
of
the
the
light.
Infinite.
Yep.
It doesn't have another Holy Nova. That was a card that was discovered. That wasn't in the actual deck. But ends up going with Tyrion instead. Metis going to draw Renew. Gonna heal 3. Deciding what to pick here. Takes Whispers of Evil. Get a random lackey. Gets an Ethereal lackey. You can't. That's not bad.
Just gonna continue this chain of discovering things that were discovered by other things that were discovered by other things.
Shadow Word Rune looks pretty good here.
Yeah. And this is a great note on the ordering of this play, right? He knew he always had the death, and he was definitely saving mana to do that. But going through all of the discover options to see if he could get a better answer. So just it's good fun. It's pretty fundamental Hearthstone, but just really solid ordering piece here.
So Mind Game's gonna get a Fairy Dragon. Not the worst.
Not at all. Interesting that he
played that before the Shadow Word.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my man. The curse of the caster. I'm sitting there talking about how good his ordering is, and maybe maybe there's a reason. Maybe it was just way more likely, and it was fine. And he wanted to because Mind Games is a randomly generated card as well. So
Yeah.
if he gets a
really, if he gets a I guess nothing's like super good, but if you get something that dies to the Shadow Word, he can just play the death instead of the ruin.
Yeah, you can just death and
there and just attack the Fey Wing. So gives him more options, and then you'd have 2 more mana to play Lightwell, heal yourself. So Deliver draws Dragonbane.
Still saving that Phase Stalker.
I missed that weapon. Where'd the weapon come from?
Tyrion's Death Rattle.
Oh right, my bad. Yeah, look at the deck list first. That's a really big. Dragon or. Jeez, my brain. Stormhammer. That's the one. But no, that's not it. So we have the Snake Trap. Dragonbane took out the. Was it the lackey?
Yeah, it was. Sorry, I was thinking of the Soul Mirror implications.
Ooh, okay.
Can't do that.
No.
Can't be talking about your spells either.
No. Metis.
So Soul Mirror, they attack, but then you get your own Dragonbane, and you can clean it up.
And you can attack your
Fairy Dragon into his Dragonbane after the Soul Mirror happens. Which
but you have to, but you know that it's Snake Trap, so like you're gonna trigger the Snake Trap.
Oh.
Wow. Going with an Apotheosis.
That was pretty cute.
Dragonbane with the Shadow Word Death to take it out. Fairy Dragon's gonna trade with the Ooze. Gonna trigger that Snake Trap, which Metis was aware of because only 2 secrets in the deck, Freezing Trap, Snake Trap, and tested for Freezing Trap before by attacking face. Which I imagine is why he just snap attacked face before deciding to play Apotheosis.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was like, "Oh, I'd rather just get frozen."
Right, but then
and now he does get to keep the Soul Mirror for bigger threats. Like if Dragon Queen out shuts down and plays multiple big guys, then it's more easy to deal with the Soul Mirror. So potentially pretty good. Just threat alignment thinking from Metis there to not go for the Soul Mirror play, but he does have one less dragon, and Dragonbane's a fun card for me.
For sure. Yeah, I just have to think that having the snake trap, like you know that it's snake draw, you know that that's going to affect how you play your soul mirror too. Because if you do that, then you have to attack the dragon bane, which is going to give your opponent snake trap anyway.
Sure.
Which the snakes would take out. You take out your own dragon bane. So.
And there's that.
Oh, we have. That's Zixor Prime from the. I forgot about that.
We have 2 Zixor
From way
Prime.
back, yeah.
This is freezing too. So he's gonna get a 10 mana Zixor Prime next turn.
Astounding, yeah. I didn't realize that either.
A+
Wow.
inhibitors.
Oh my god. All right. Real big brain play from Metis there. Take advantage of that freezing trap.
And we've already seen the Zephyrs come down from Deliver.
Deliver.
So there's not an amazing way to deal with another wave of 4/4/4s.
Right. We have Varanus, but Snake Trap's gone. We have to find the Unleash there. Like, that's 2 cards that we need.
Deciding if he wants to trade or keep the pressure up. Oh, looks like he decided to leave the minions alive. So here, Deliver could go off face because he can push 12 to face here, which is a lot. Because he knows the Zigzaws can attack him next turn.
Right.
Or the ones from hand, at least. So he'll be taking... He's looking at taking 12 over to... It's really just a matter of can he get the 2-turn lethal before he has the one coming down. And he can delay it a little bit with Bone Wraith if he wants to. I don't know. I think he has to go to the... I think he has to go face here. I think he's at a point where he has to think he's going to draw his best cards.
Yeah, and just chooses not to play anything. Penance a nice draw. Being able to, when your opponent's ignoring your board and going face, something that heals an extra 3.
Yeah, and deals with and helps deal with their board as well.
Yeah, he only has to trade like the 1 Zixor in now with the Penance.
Is Elun's will?
Yeah, Penance plus hero power will bring him up to 14, which is out of range. So right now he's dead to, well, if he doesn't heal at all, he's dead to Bran hero power top deck. I think if he penances in hero powers, that will kind of close the book. I mean, there's Dragon Queen Alexstrasza that can always be drawn and give weird stuff.
Right.
Just debating if he wants to play the second Zixor, but I think.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much that Silver can do to deal about it, but here you're hedging, about like what can my opponent draw that would kill me versus am I gonna kill pretty soon? And they drew Alexstrasza and just plays that. Doesn't even touch the hand. You get a Fairy Dragon and Wind River, which takes out one of the Zixors, yeah.
This is not exactly the type of Dragon Queen Alexstrasza box you wanted to open here, because this just is cleaned up really easily by the second Zixor or the Soul Mirror.
Right. I mean, you drew it, you kind of have to do it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was another option there.
Yeah. But not quite what we wanted. Like, the Fairy Dragon was a real big miss there.
He needed that Fairy Dragon like 8 turns ago.
It was good when Metis got it.
Yeah.
Not so good when Deliver got it.
Oh, can he get another Dragon Queen? He can.
Well, that wouldn't matter. He wouldn't be able to play it.
But he's not dead on board.
Oh,
Is he?
right.
No, he's not. He's still alive on board. So another Dragon Queen would give him another chance at spiking a Dragon Queen roll.
Yeah.
But not there. He can't play Maui.
Honestly, here I kind of wish there was a fairy dragon. That way you could play the fairy dragon in the Bone Wraith. Instead, taking the it went away before I could remember the name.
Some type of something.
Yeah.
I bet Dragon Rider knows because someone's a Dragon Rider. Oh, and now Brand's live.
Oh my god.
He can't brand. Oh, he could brand and hit face and just use the last 6 or.
Let me change.
This also is good. I just wanted to see the brand.
Oh yes, of course. I'm sure we'll see it next turn. If Deliver
gonna concede, he's never even gonna know.
No. Bone Wraith? No. I really wanted to see that.
Just know it was there the whole time.
It just got turned on that turn too. The time breath being the last double and
yeah. And after all my talk about Highlander Hunter stomping Priest, Priest takes the win in what I think is still a pretty unfavored matchup. Looked like Deliver had some kind of awkward draws, didn't hit his power cards. The Priest had Dino Tamer Brand before the Hunter did. Because that's Hearthstone in 2020.
Yeah, right. Jeez. You know,
I mean,
we saw like
good.
No, I was just gonna make a comment about the a couple of like the funny like the Shadow Madness thing where he silenced it, like
yeah, some weird both players I think maybe making some misreads on Shadow Madness that game. I think playing the Griffin into
they started. All right, yeah, let's go to the match. Sorry about that.
Starting.
Come, embrace the
and
chaos.
the Warrior Mirror.
Yeah,
but they are different warrior lists. We have
Metis is an Egg Warrior.
List. Yep, and Metis is playing the Egg Warrior, which the stats say gives you a slight edge in the mirror. Honestly, I haven't played the mirror enough to really know because Warrior's always banned.
Fair. Totally fair.
But Deliver getting a weapon and Risky Skipper, which are 2 things you really want to see as Warrior, regardless of your opponent. So decent start there. Metis a little more difficult mulligan.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I would do with this. He decides to throw back the Serpent Egg and the Sky Raider, right? And gets 2 more 3-drops. Don't think that's really what you want to see either, but let's see what he draws. A Grommash. Flip draws a Blood Boil Brute. Deciding whether to Hero Power or Skipper here.
Yeah, this might be a taking time to not give information type thing. I don't necessarily think he was skippering, but deciding not to Hero Power in order to play into a Battle Rage later should he attack a weapon into a minion, I think was the read there, which is just
okay. Yeah, that's
a weird quirk of Battle Rage being in your deck. You want you want to take a little bit of damage.
So draw Bloodsport Mercenary. And contemplating which weapon to play here. Goes with the Enkar.
Job's done.
He's gonna attack into the Warmaul Challenger. Drawing the Sky Raider, passing it back. Metis draws an Armor Smith.
I would be a little worried about that attack, I think. Because unless I'm missing something, Metis is definitely running Rampages. So So interesting attack there, because now it's open for a turn 3 Bloodsworn Mercenary, which is not super powerful, but it is just like a pretty hard minion to deal with in the mirror. Or also Rampage, which is another like kind of hard card to deal with. So I'm sure there's a line there to look, when we make these comments about, oh, I would have done something differently. These are both good players. They're both 5-1. They're both here. We're just sort of discussing the different lines that we see, and with all respect to what they might be seeing as well, because I'm sure there's a reason that we're just not thinking of.
Yeah, of course. It's definitely interesting to like compare like what you would play, you would do, and like even I don't have nearly as much experience as you or either of these players, so I feel like my lines are like pretty basic. But hearing you explain things is like, definitely opens up my eyes, even if it isn't like what we end up seeing.
Sure. And basic is often good. There's that whole stream of pro players that just say, I'm gonna play it so it's in play, hit him in the face so he has less life. little Hearthstone truisms.
That sounds like my kind of player.
I think it's like Zalay who's the really biggest one, but that whole crew, very famous for saying things like that.
Yeah.
Which is helpful to come back to. If I often find myself like overthinking, and like, you know what, I'm just gonna hit him in the face, whatever. Especially when I'm tired or something.
Right.
Now, we're just gonna continue stocking his, charging up these weapons, trying to find some resources to set up for a big risky skipper swing turn.
T-Straw is on live wire lance there with Corsair Cash. And I presume he's going to send 2 to the face here.
Yep.
And deciding to gain armor, not really, despite the battle rage in hand, deciding to not take the same sort of line that we saw delivered you on turn 2.
Yep. I think it could just be that he values armor a little more than card draw, especially with the fact he has a damage minion, and if he needs cards, he can copy the damage minion to draw a few. Okay. But I was thinking he's just in a spot right now where his hand is okay. He's not really under any pressure yet.
Right.
So let's spin the mana,
So we see an attack with the live wire lance, getting a Titanic Lackey for deliver, bringing the challenger down to a 1/4, and armor and pass. And we see a rampage.
Oof, rampage into Bloodsworn on turn 5, which is gonna be tough. That's kind of what we were worried about with the attacks into the 110.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like he could have played the Core Elite and taken out the 110 and opted to armor up instead.
Yeah, but now he's got the risky skipper swing turn.
Yeah, so we see skipper. See Titanic Lackey. Gonna make the skipper. He's still 1/4 after the trigger. And he can have a.
Can he ever? No, I was trying to say if he could ever have enough mana to copy the brute, but I don't think.
No.
So I think he has to play another minion, so there's no way to get 2 brutes coming down.
Right.
Must burn them all.
Yeah, because this is gonna take like it's gonna be neutral. It's gonna get a damage minion, but it's gonna take out the 2 line.
Right.
So
Wait, sorry, he can get the second natural brute. He can't copy it. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely some important sequencing here, and the Titanic Lackey seemed to be a pretty good draw.
Yeah, that was
to extend this risky skipper, and those Blood Boil brutes coming down and taking care of those rampage wormholes. Decided not to attack with the lance, drawing a Blood Boil brute of his own for Metis.
So this turn we could see a Blood Boil brute be copied. Could also
What now?
is there any way to play the Brute and Battle Rage and copy? Like, can we get the Brute down? We can copy the 1/7, which brings the Brute down to 2. So we're still 1 mana short there.
I'm definitely considering how to sequence this turn.
It is tough, but on a macro level, I think Metis might be in a decent spot if he can deal with this. He's seen, barring Lucky Sky Raider, your opponent has 2 skipper turns, right? And this matchup kind of hinges on who can do the last skipper swing turn. I think this sort of wired on the matchup. And so he's seen one, and he's taken the board back. So I think he's probably feeling fairly comfortable right now, especially with a 2-card Battle Raid coming next turn, potentially.
Yeah, that's the thing in this list that like really can like clean this up easily, except for the second skipper. So he chooses to take 5, taking out one of the brutes. It's a faceless lackey. And a Doomsayer?
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a card. I mean, inner rage on the brute would trade brutes and then force Metis to deal with the Doomsayer.
Yeah, and then it would swing the board back. You're burning your inner rage here. I'm not sure there's I mean, I think given the fact that you got Doomsayer, I'm not sure there's a better play. That was because you have to kill the brute, right? You can't just let it hit you in the face for 5. You're very low.
Yeah, and you still have mana to armor up and Crusader Cash here. Ends up going with that line, and you might not have time to do things.
Did
So
he
he
get the
gets
Corsair?
the armor.
Yeah,
Oh, he did. Okay,
He got that
wasn't
off.
sure. So we get the
Yeah.
Livewire Lance. I think that's the last weapon for Deliver.
I think that you're
We
right.
saw the 2 before.
But there is a Corsair's Cash left, if I'm not mistaken. So that's
Right,
just a
because
dead
they
draw to look out for.
They were both naturally drawn.
He's going to trade for Battle Rage here.
What now?
He has the option to Cork on Livewire lands and just kill the Doomsayer. Which he can't do now. They play Battle Rage. Okay, just gonna choose to push face, let the Doomsayer go off.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting too much. You're not losing too much here.
Gonna go ahead and sacrifice. Well, okay. I'm gonna pick the card that's like almost good enough to go in my deck. Or a card that goes in some versions of my deck.
The card that my opponent's playing.
Right, yeah.
Card my opponent has in their hand.
Yeah, instantly mousing over it like, oh, it's an empty board and I can play a 12/12 on turn 8. That seems good.
Yeah.
Hard to argue with, to be honest.
A conundrum.
I think I've told this story casting before, but my fiance does not play Hearthstone or card games at all, and she was kind of like sitting next to me on the couch one time and watching me kind of struggle with the play, and she just looked over and she goes, "Why don't you just play the biggest card that you can play?" And I was like, "You're really good at Hearthstone. How are you so good at this game?" And Deliver taking that line.
So I mean, if she's really good, we do have a season coming up after this. She's free to join. It's $25, and she could win some money. Turn those skills into some cash.
I should get it. That'll just double my household's chance of winning money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We just can't be in the same division.
Why not?
Oh, we would collude for sure.
Fair. All right, so 2 core Crown Elites coming down from Metis, gonna bring Deliver down to 2. Dead to that weapon.
We chatted for a bit, and then I looked up, and Deliver was almost dead.
Oh, there's 2. I just have 2 armor smiths.
But no skippers to get any armor, so he can armor. I mean, Armor Smith Cork on Elite puts him at not enough, so I think he has to. I don't even know what pirates he can get here though. I think he wanted the Rush Lackey to try to copy. Yeah, the out there was I think Rush Lackey to copy to let the Deathwing hit a 4/3, copy it, hit the other 4/3, armor up, putting you one out of what you can see on board. But of course, we see the Kobold Lackey.
Someone's got to lead the
Could have had a risky skipper.
Yeah. Oh,
No, it was Skyrider. I thought it was too.
the art is so similar.
Oh, we did
There
it!
it is.
I'll show you who's boss.
Oh my god!
Unbelievable. Man.
Astounding. Astonishing. That's what Garrett is. Astounding is the
Oh, it still has to trade the 12 into 4,
I mean, whatever. You just gained
yeah.
12 life. Well, 12 armor. But yeah.
but is he still dead? After all that, got lucky and punished by the Corcoran in the hands.
Wait, oh.
Oh, he was cute and used the Lackey to do it instead of the enemy.
Nice.
Oh, but good play for Deliver to sort of play for the outs and just keep Sky Raidering. Sometimes it's just not there.
Yeah, and definitely exciting to see, before we kind of realized that he was still dead anyway. It was definitely an exciting turn. If you had one more, if you hit the risky skipper on the first one instead of the second one, would have been able to double Armor Smith. So might have been able to stay alive. So getting that second Sky Raider, not having enough mana to get that skipper was unfortunate. So Metis is up 2-0. So only face on our left.
Yeah, it's interesting. Players, both games we've seen a player go up 2-0 and then bring their kind of most nerfed deck as the third one. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if it's a strategy they're thinking of. Maybe that's a deck they're less sure of. But anyway, we're gonna see it.
Come, embrace the chaos.
See in game 3, and we see in Matisse's hand, he has Imprisoned Felmaw, which is a huge card to have in the in any matchup, really, in Face Hunter. It's a super impactful card to have early. So, but the debate is that or Face Talker, and I don't know. I like Felmaw here. Yep.
Yeah, and Deliver does have a few cheap minions in his deck to be able to might be able to divert the Felmaw when it awakens. We'll see.
Sure.
We have 2 Felmaws for Matisse actually. Deliver on the coin here has risky skipper, but don't think you want to run that out. Just gonna pass. Matisse draws an arcane shot. Gonna go with the Felmaw.
I'll be curious to see if he plays the second Felmaw.
Right.
Because I feel like it always sounds so good to me. I'm like, oh, if one Felmaw is good, 2 must be twice as good. And then I'm so behind on board by the time they're awake. But in this matchup, not too much board pressure coming down. So actually it might be a matchup where the second Felmaw is a reasonable play.
Yeah, Deliver opting to coin out Ankar here. Gonna attack Matisse down to 28. And gonna draw him a Captain Greenskin. Matisse draws
something. There we go.
Yeah.
I think this is the best play in this hand.
Scrap shot. And plays the second Felmaw. And just passing back. So we're gonna have 2 Felmaws coming off the next 2 turns. Deliver. Probably just play the Bomb Wrangler, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would think so, just to hope that the Felmaw hits that. But gotta be happy to get that Armor Smith pickup for the future skip return as well.
Yeah, for sure. And drawing a Sky Raider off of the brain, off of
The Ankar?
off of the Ankar, yeah. So the Felmaw does take down the Bomb Wrangler, giving Deliver a Boombot, and Matisse draws a Stone Tusk Boar.
Kind of a bummer for him. You really were hoping that would stay in the deck till you played that scrap shot. You don't You don't really want to. You don't want a 1/1. That's the 1/1. If it's always a 1/1, never makes the cut in this
For
deck.
masterly take.
Looks like time to start. It's turn 4. Time to start pressing the button every turn as base hunter. I think just got to get those in every turn.
And flip draws Corsair Cash.
A little bit of a weird turn for deliver potentially.
Risky Armorsmith. Skyraider, clear the board. Opting instead to attack the Sand Trooper and just armor up. And Corsair Cash getting a 3/3 Live Hour Lance. So Metis is going to take 10 this turn. Or Deliver's going to take 10 this turn from those Fell Balls. One coming out from being dormant and one attacking. Draws a Face Stalker. Which has 2 explosive traps, so there's no secret here.
Find a name. Just play that face up. We all know what it is.
Exactly. Rampage the draw.
Yeah, you have to skipper here. It's not quite as nutso as you want it to be, but in matchups like this, when you're under so much pressure, something probably skipper, Skyraider, Armorsmith. Hope you get a 1-drop
Show
pirate.
you who's boss.
Armor made to fit.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
And Skyraider gets a green skin. Not great.
That's a big whiff. The green skin is definitely there for the slower matchups, and you're probably never having time to play a 5/4 that doesn't protect your health at all.
Yeah, to play the first one, much less the second one.
Right, yeah.
Draws a Scavenger's Ingenuity for Metis.
Which would be a 50-50 to get a second Face Stalker or the second boar at this point. Oh, I said earlier that you wanted the board to stay till after you played the Scrap Shot. I got Scrap Shot confused with Scavenger's Ingenuity. You want
I
the
thought
board
so,
in your
but I didn't.
So this turn, I mean, you want to kill the skipper and the Armorsmith.
You probably want to send the 5/2 to the face.
Yes. I'm wondering if you go ahead and Scrap Shot
I moves quickly.
just to buff the board that's in your hand.
She's an Arcane.
You don't have any hero power if you do that, but no. Okay, leaving.
It's a Scrap Shot.
Okay, I like this a lot actually. He just killed an Armorsmith. It's pretty unlikely he's gonna have another one.
Just gonna face
and if he
everything.
does the skipper, yeah. If he does, the skipper only has 1 tick of it. So
Right. So delivers at 7. Okay, so attacks the 5/4 down to a 5, or attacks the 5/2 down to a 5/1. Rampage on the skipper.
So this is why I think you probably want to kill the skipper, because now he just gets to clear your board.
Yeah.
I think if you trade, I think you sacrifice 2 damage to kill the skipper, because then I'm not sure what he does about your 4/4 and 5/1.
Right.
Your flaws are your strength.
Yeah, so
But
that's what
easy
we're
to say
saying.
that. Much easier from up here in the on the caster's podium, pedestal, not podium.
Well, we have lethal here, yeah.
Yeah.
Unleash the Hounds. Giving the beast to turn on the kill command.
2 3-0s tonight, huh?
Wow.
Pretty, oh, hey, someone became a level 50 player. That was exciting. On the as the thing was ending, just saw that on the little spec thing.
Oh, nice. Someone's friend, yeah.
2 quick 3-0s in our matches tonight. Just sometimes you draw the good cards.
Yeah.
And play well. I think we had some times where we'd have taken some different lines from our players a couple of times. But it worked out, and I think, not to say their lines were obviously not that. They were not that bad, and they were definitely possibly better than ours. They've been practicing with these decks, presumably. They did some testing and probably played with them through the week, so they're a little more familiar with their own play style and tendencies. So Congrats to Metis for moving up to 6-1, and I believe you seem to be the standings expert here. I believe securing a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, we have so Division 4. We have 2 divisions that are 8 and 2 divisions who are 10. So it was split up because we had 34 players. So the top 2 for Division 4 are going to be going to the playoffs. So Metis beat Deliver, so he'll be going up to 6-1, which should lock him for the playoffs. And we have Primitive, which had a thing. We had a player drop out, and Primitive was actually paired against that player. So it ends up just being a bye for Primitive. So Primitive is going to move up to 6-1 as well. But I think that
He will still be ahead of Metis. Be a 3-0. So they both got 3-0s essentially.
Yeah. I guess it wouldn't be fair to not give them a 3-0 for the game wins. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I'd be so mad.
Right.
I got a bye and I got like a 3-2 or something.
Yeah. So Primitive is going to lock up the bye here, and then Metis locks up that second place. So Deliver is still in it for sure. Having 17 game wins, twos can't reach him. Even with a 3-0, twos would only go up to 16. So Deliver's gonna look pretty good in that wildcard spot at 5-2 with a really nice number of game wins.
Yep, I think it's pretty likely we'll be seeing Deliver in there as well. And he has a pretty long history of success in Aspirant. I think he's I know he's at least been in the seasons I've been in, and he's done very well in all of them. He's a really strong player.
Yeah, are you saying that he really knows how to deliver?
I'm so glad the caster cams are up so they can see my face and the reaction to that.
So they can
say that.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is it. That is it for us tonight, except for a few last minute announcements.
Yeah, we are entering the 3rd week of our. We do. This is a lot. Getting ahead of myself. We have. We do have a Discord where we're going to be posting about the next season when that becomes ready. But with the wrap up of week 7 here, we do have the playoffs of the Aspirant Hearthstone series beginning next week. So we'll be back next Saturday for that, and you'll be able to see our wildcard round. So players who earn buys from being first place in the division are not going to have to play next week, which is really nice for them. We also have our Venus and Mercury League, which is our Magic Arena League for non-binary and female players. And that runs on Friday nights. So they're entering the 3rd season of their season 2 next week, and that's going to be Friday at 7 Central. So, you can have a little doubleheader of Aspirant action. You have Magic on Friday nights and Hearthstone playoffs on Saturday.
Lots of cards being slung. And catch us next week, and we will have the wild card playoff round, the first round of playoffs. And at that point, it is win or go home. So we're gonna have.
Everyone's at home right now. So
win or play Hearthstone on ladder instead of
win or play on ladder. Oh, that sounds even worse.
So we'll be back here next week on Saturday night following the Magic League that Anna was mentioning, and that is it for me. Thank you guys for being here, and have a good rest of your Saturday night.